For the next 100 hours, I'll be building an intense LEGO Star Wars battle, packed with a lot of details and based on Ajan Kloss from Battlefront II. We will split this journey into 4 full of effort one-day segments. Is it possible to finish the battle in time? Let's find out. Let's start the first day with this sizable LEGO order that contains these awesome plant pieces, useful ground texture elements, a resistance trooper and even more minifigure pieces. Over 500 parts that with my existing collection will be essential for our battle to happen. What's also essential to the battle are fighting factions like the First Order. Leading the army will be Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. The main trooper force will consist of 4 Sith troopers and the aerial support will be provided by the Jet Trooper. Opposing faction, the Resistance, will need a lot of help, so let's build this turret as the first step to accurately recreate this location. Fortunately, I designed it in my last Battlefront II creation, and now I just need to color swap it to be faithful to the game. As for the minifigures, we'll use these characters. Leading the Resistance will be Rey in her Jedi appearance. Helping her will be this cute but deadly BB-8. The main trooper force will consist of 3 Resistance troopers, 1 Resistance heavy trooper, 1 Resistance officer, and 1 Resistance rocket trooper. It's time to build the location where the battle will take place, so I have mapped out the entire scene on a few base plates with the position of each main component. Let's quickly build a black frame around the diorama for nicer aesthetic. At the source location there are several of these cable holders with a distinct design, so I'm building them as accurately as possible. Let's place all 3 of them into their intended spots. Now I'll work a bit off camera to save your time on a time-consuming LEGO math and elevation of this landscape. After a long while, I prepared the foundations of the terrain with a slight hill like it's in the Battlefront II. I'm using here various slope pieces to create a natural mix of the terrain and rock formations that will add more detail to the sides of the diorama. Throughout the entire location lay these light grey tiles, so we need to recreate them and they are 31 that we need for our diorama. So let's get to work. Additional challenge here is that some of them, actually most of them, must be at an angle, so that's fun to figure out. But after 40 minutes we have a finished pathway, and that's enough for today. So it's time for day 2 and there is a lot to be done today. Starting with a needed return to these cable holders, as the LEGO cable is too long and to fix it I need to put it underneath the ground so I can make it shorter in length to be more accurate to the game. Next let's focus our attention on the ground layer of Ajan Kloss. By using various size tiles and plates in dark tan color with mix of olive green I'm creating the terrain of the main pathway as well as I'm preparing for the elevated portions of it. After over an hour of building, another section of this diorama is finished. So apparently one creation in 100 hours is not enough for me, as later on a livestream I built with you another creation, presenting this epic Kylo Ren's throne room, and the entire scene where the First Order forces give tribute to the new Supreme Leader after a successful campaign on Corellia, as seen in the Star Wars Legacy of Vader comic book series. This was a nice day full of building, but I really need to focus now all my time on our battle diorama if I want to finish it in time. Let's start at day 3 with this spot of the location that I decided to build off camera to better focus on the building, as this was quite a tricky section. On the back I did some preparations for the next building session, during which I'm shaping backside of the hill of this first major camp. With the back section finished, let's move on to the front of the hill, which I'm shaping by using variety of slope pieces, and this diorama is starting to come together really nice. Before moving forward, let's reinforce its back section. Let's move our attention to this hill in the back, where the Resistance located their defensive turret which we built in day 1. I made most of the boring and time-consuming work required by foundation, as well as the back section off camera, so I can easily add these elements. A simple assembly of a bigger slope piece, a slope-based section made using side building technique, and this section for the corner of the hill full of wedge plates. Now let's attach them into their intended spots. On the hill near the turret there is a lot of vegetation, so I'm placing here quite a bit of jungle moss in olive green color, as well as I'm stacking the green plants to create bigger bushes and fern plants. Let's add the turret as well. This tree looks like it was taken from the game, which is awesome to see. Near the main rock formation there is a slightly elevated terrain, which is covered in a few plants. So that's what I will quickly build now, while using the same ground and plant designs for the consistency of this diorama. As there is one palm tree in the location, I build a simple but effective design, and let's place it on the previously prepared inverted bracket. I like how this is starting to look like an actual jungle and the location we see on Ajan Kloss in Battlefront 2. So this was all the progress for today, and let's move on to day 4. Today the stakes are higher as there is a lot to be done and this is a final building day. Let's start with this big rock formation covered in jungle moss that stretches along the main pathway. After a few hours of working off camera, I managed to recreate it as accurately as I could. I used here a lot of various techniques and honestly I built in almost every direction to achieve this rock formation. Overall, I'm really happy how nicely this turned out, especially as I started to run out of olive green pieces at the end. And we still need to complete this section here. As you can see, there is a lot of various computers, consoles and containers here. So let's recreate them. Starting with these small dark green boxes. And this is a small assembly for a single box, which is perfect for the minifigure scale. We have here also this white table with some computers and a green box. So I'm using here brackets and tiles with addition of a printed slope piece. Near the white table is this bigger computer device, which I'm going to make with some brackets and side building technique, as well as 2 printed tiles. On the far left side there is another device for which I'm using these elements to nicely create the main shape, on which I'm adding an assembly with jumper plate to add the control panel on top. Now it's time for the most difficult device present in the location, which is this mostly white large device covered in leaves from the front. I'm starting from this vertical assembly that I'll replicate 5 times and connect them using smaller bar piece attached to the headlight brick so I can have this section at an angle like it's in the game. I prepared this black component that will hold in place all 3 sections at the required angle. We still need to recreate these leaves covering the front section. To do so, I made this assembly that will nicely fit previously created component. Now that all the computer devices are ready, it's time to recreate this camp. So I'm building the ground layer with a dedicated place for each single device. It's time for the best part of building such dioramas, the minifigures and creating the battle. After 4 days full of building, the final result is here and I couldn't be happier with it, as the galactic supremacy on Ajan Kloss turned out great. I love the unique scenery of the jungle that does a fantastic job as the background for the battle between the First Order and the Resistance. It was a lot of fun to create various trooper classes and to use so many in this build. Who do you think will win this battle? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to check out the next one, visible on the screen. See you soon!